What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the More Than Love podcast. I'm your host, Terry Deleon.
And I'm your co-host, Jay Babo.
Tonight's episode of the More Than Love podcast is sponsored by Terry Deleon Books. Make sure you go check me out where you can find all of my material, all of my books, and my ebooks. That's terryderonbooks.com. Tonight we have a very interesting show for you. Today we're going to be talking about polyamory relationships. It's it's a hard word for me to pronounce. So we'll be chopping it up with my girl Montana Deleon. She'll be providing a lot of insight on that particular topic. I get asked about it a lot. But before we get into that, I like to start the show off with a segment that I call Terry's Top 3, where we highlight the most popular or some of the most controversial posts on my Instagram page at Terry Deleon. So let me go ahead and get started. So the first post that I have is more valuable for a woman to have the kind of personality that a man really enjoys being around than it is to be able to make him desire her sexually. Being able to do both is clearly the best case scenario. Now, basically, I was just trying to highlight with this post that no matter how attractive a woman is, no matter how good her pussy is, etc., no matter how freaky she is in a bedroom, personality comes into play. Because an individual's personality it determines how they handle the scenarios that you encounter in life, how they handle misunderstandings, how they handle crisis situations, etc. So if you're with the person that has a negative or a shitty personality, eventually all the sexual stuff is not going to be enough to overcome that. And so a lot of women need to check themselves and fix their attitudes because they have everything else. If you look attractiveness, careers, intelligence, etc., a lot of women have bad attitudes that make them undesirable for a lot of men.
Yeah, I definitely agree that, having, as far as, dating, if you're pursuing something, a woman that's pursuing something longer term, like, personality and attitude towards things, matter, especially to a guy, successful woman. Because,
yeah, absolutely.
You might have good sex game, eventually, that good, good pussy that, eventually that's going to run its course after a while.
Yeah, I mean, because you have to be able to engage somebody when something bad happens, right, when something unexpected happens. You may have to manage resources. You may not have enough money for
right,
certain things. So how they handle those type of things, not being able to afford something, or, like having to make a sacrifice.
Exactly.
Like, all that matters.
And even if, hey, listen, if you got good pussy or whatever, you are attractive, I mean, they say looks eventually fade, so you're going to have be able to bring something else to the table besides looks and just a good sex game.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of women don't realize that till it's too late. We see a lot of these reality show chicks or whatnot. They have everything going for you. They make six
right,
figures every year. They pop in all this, but they don't have the type of mentalities and the type of behavior that are conducive to having a healthy relationship. And a lot of men are smart enough to be able to tell the difference between somebody that he could just fuck with and somebody that he can build with. And so that's really what it boils down to. A man that has options is going to be able to choose a woman that handles situations without being childish and petty, that has a reasonable or realistic perspective on things. He's going to be able, because he's comparing you to the other women.
Let's just say she finds a dude that might be down on his luck or something like that. He has that go for himself,
Yeah, you might find somebody.
Low on money, maybe he doesn't have a car, but, at some point he's going to eventually get on his feet. So he's going to have those options again at some point.
Well, if he got, it don't take very much for a man to have options. There are men that don't have nothing going for themselves that have options. So it's very easy for a man to put himself in a position to be successful, at least semi-successful with women. All right.
Absolutely.
Now, this next post was a post that I put up where he just highlighted 3 harsh truths about love. Now I put this up because I see all these memes and all these posts about how love is supposed to overpower everything and all these romanticized versions of love that people spew about don't represent reality. All right, so number one on my list, it will make you do more for the person you love than you would do for people you don't. That's common sense. When you talk about a person and their loved ones, those are the people that they leave their assets to in a will, on an insurance policy. Those are the people that they're willing to go above and beyond for. Not for strangers, not for people that are not in their circle. You know what I mean? Like so when you're talking about things that you're willing to do for somebody you love, that's one of them. You know what I mean? Like you're going to you're going to with put up with stuff that you wouldn't put up with from other people. All right, and that's number two on my list. It will cause you to put up with things that you wouldn't accept or deal with from people you don't love. That's common sense too. You have a much larger margin for error dealing with somebody that's your family member. A parent can't just get rid of their child. They have to get counseling, and you know what I'm saying. Like they can't just give up. Well, a good parent. Let me correct that. There are parents that give up on their kids every day, but I'm talking about from a quality, respectful perspective. A respectful person is not gonna just get rid of their kid because their kid got a behavioral problem or there's something wrong with them. And the third thing that I had on the list is it comes with conditions that have to be met in order for the love to be maintained. Otherwise, a person's feelings, behavior, and desire to be in a relationship will change. If your needs are continuously not being met, and the person that you love is not treating you within a way that you feel is acceptable, your feelings toward them are going to change. That love, that happiness, that euphoric feeling you used to get by being around them is going to turn into anger, resentment, bitterness. You know what I mean? Like, and so we all have conditions that we expect to be met. It's no different. We have conditions with everything. You go buy some groceries, you buy some meat, you got to keep it at a certain temperature, or it's gonna have your whole house stinking. You know what I'm saying? Like you eat some meat that wasn't kept in the right temperatures, you gonna get sick. So we have conditions. Otherwise, there are going to be negative repercussions. You know what I mean? Like you can continue to run water as long as your drain is effectively working. You know what I'm saying? Like everything has conditions that have to be met in order for things to be stable or operate normally. In a relationship, it's no different. The person you love don't give you enough attention consistently. You talk to them about it 3 or 4 times. Tell them how you feel and how you feel neglected, and they continue to ignore you. Your behavior and feelings are going to change. That's how people end up falling for somebody else or cheating, etc. All those type of things happen as a result of the conditions that they experienced in their relationship.
Yeah, the whole unconditional love. I think that's another fairy tale that people say all the time. You love somebody, supposed to be unconditional, no matter what happens. You're supposed to love somebody. You think about it. Even in marriage, you love them through thick and thin. Whatever, all that.
Yeah, I mean, divorce is always an option.
Right.
Divorce.
And, even they throw that in there. So, it's something, that I guess you could say it's how it's pushed on everyone for a while. But we don't know that's, far from the truth here,
Well,
like you said, love is conditional.
Society does, they do have a breakup mentality these days. People take pride in cutting off people and breaking up and being able to say that they blocked you and, post stuff about how they moving on. Like, people love the attention and going through the motions with that.
Right. We live in an instant gratification society where people will post that just for the the ego gratification of that. Which is good. But people, because they're going to get a few likes and people's going to co-sign that nonsense and that.
But I mean, there are a lot of people that just believe that once you fall in love, everything else is magically going to fall into place. And that is not reality.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, you can love, like a smart person that knows how to effectively date and can figure out if they're compatible with somebody or not. They could love you and still choose not to marry you or get in a commit, have kids with you, etc. Because they can see that y'all are not compatible long term. Sex could be great. Both could have degrees. Both could have years of knowing each other. All these things are great. But if y'all's core personality traits are not compatible with one another, it's a waste of time. Because it's going to develop into a dysfunctional relationship. Or
and probably end in resentment towards each other in the long haul.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to end up being a bad situation for everybody. Now, this next post that I wanted to talk about was a video that was sent to me where relationship expert Tony Gaskins was speaking to some women. It looks like he's sitting on a couch or whatnot, and they're discussing being in a relationship. So listen to what he had to say.
As a woman, I wouldn't wait on a man, especially of age. If he's over 25, and especially if he's over 30. The older he is, the sooner he should know. I wouldn't wait past 12 months. But today what we're doing is we've become career daters. Yes. And so you let a man take you off the market, and you got to tell all of these angels, all of these Prince Charmers that's walking past you every day, you have to tell them, I'm taken.
Right.
But yet he's just holding you off the market. And yet, if he meets a woman that is better than you, he'll leave you in a heartbeat.
Oh, wait, Tony.
And that's where you have to get. So
give me
I would give a man an ultimatum. You either want me or you don't. I'm single and I'm dating, and I have a roster. I have 5 other male friends that I'm talking to. I'm sleeping with none. As long as your legs are closed, you're winning. And I can guarantee you, if you meet a man and you have everything that he wants in a woman, and he's a mature man and he's ready for love, he'll put a ring on it quick. Wow. So that's what I would say to the ladies. Understand your worth.
All right, now he said a lot. You know what I mean? I don't agree with a lot of it. This sounds unrealistic, and it does not sound like it is a strategy that is going to work with a quality man. First of all, the idea that a woman that's dating a man that she likes and sees a future with is somehow forced to take herself off the market and forced to proclaim that she's taken to other people is nonsense. She's single just like he's single. There's nothing that comes with casual dating that says you have to be exclusively dating somebody. That's something you discuss. You come to an agreement to be exclusive with somebody. So unless a woman comes to that agreement with the man, she's not forced to declare that she's taken. So this what I saw happen in that is when you make a point based off something false or fake, whatever you come up with is going to be something false or fake. So this idea of these women are somehow in these committed relationships where they have to tell a man tell everybody that they're taken, and then the man just finds somebody better than them, and they're gonna get left hanging. A single woman can meet Prince Charming tomorrow and cut off somebody. I've never seen a woman have a problem cutting off, changing her number, blocking a dude, or just not responding to his phone calls. So this kind of plays like he's feeding them some type of victimology. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Y'all are just getting mistreated by these dudes, and he's telling them stuff that is not really going to work. Because if you dating, we just talked about a man needs to know a woman how she handles different situations, etc. before he makes the decision to commit to her long term. That's not likely to happen within 12 months. So you come into a quality dude that's treating you right, that everything is progressing towards that. You come to him with the ultimatum 12 months later, you're about to get cut off and get your feelings hurt.
Right.
So this is setting women up.
Another thing is, like, there shouldn't be when you put a time frame on stuff like, oh, well, if we're talking for, say, 6 months, we need to be in a relationship. After 6 months, you can decide whether we're going to be in a relationship or not. It's never, when you put the time limit on, it's usually never going to work. Or I'm going to be married by, within such and such time period. I need to be married, after I date you, we need to be married within 2 years,
Yeah, I mean,
or 3 years, or whatever it is, 5 years. I mean,
People be acting like they can.
Time limit on stuff.
They act like they can
never works out
pre-plan
that
life.
way.
Like you can just predict exactly how things are going to turn out. That's the part that doesn't make much sense to me. Like, all relationships are fluid. Any relationship you have, whether it's somebody, a friend, whether it's a business relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, that the person that you're in that relationship with could say or do something tonight that completely alters your friendship or your relationship with them. You could find out some information about something that they did that instantly make you stop fucking with them. So relationships are fluid. You could get one text, you could get one screenshot, you could get one butt dial that completely changes your relationship with a person. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so for people to think that you're going to be able to predict who you're going to be cool with and how things are going to play out, that's really unrealistic. And all you got to do is look around to see why that's not realistic. We're about to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have Montana Deleon on the line, and we'll be talking about polyamorous relationships. You're listening to the More Than Love podcast. Thanks for tuning in. All right, everybody, welcome back. You're listening to the More Than Love podcast. And we have our guest for the night on the line. What's going on, Montana Deleon? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, how's it going?
I brought my girl on. We've been interacting on social media. She was part of my last podcast. She's a relationship advisor. She's an entrepreneur. She's out here getting it. You know what I mean? It's like she also runs a very inspiring Instagram page. Why don't you let the viewers know a little bit about you before we get started?
I guess you could say I'm a YouTuber because that's what the majority of my following is, and I give a lot of relationship advice on there, life advice, a little bit of lifestyle stuff, cooking, hair, even truck driving. My journey that I recorded on truck driving. But I do a little bit of everything. Nothing is off limits. I'm looking to get my pilot license next, so nothing is off limits to me.
Oh, that's what's up. Now, what I wanted to talk to you about, I saw in your profile lately that you were polyamorous.
Polyamorous, yes.
Polyamorous. I was gonna say I didn't know if I was pronouncing that correctly. So I find that to be very interesting. So I wanted to get some insight on that topic. I get questions about it, but I've never lived that lifestyle per se, or at least I don't think I did. Now it reminds me a lot when the definition of polyamorous means that you have multiple romantic or intimate relationships with other people, and the other people are aware of the relationships. Is it any more specific than that, or is it just that broad of a topic?
So it's basically like polyandry, except for both ends of the doors open. So the man is allowed to have more than one woman, and everyone knows about it. But in this situation, the woman is also allowed to have more than one man or mate.
Okay.
So wait a second. Okay. So say you and the person are together. They have another girlfriend. You may have another boyfriend.
Or it may not be, I'm in a relationship with somebody and then we start dating other people. It may be just me, by myself, single. Then I just started to be polyamorous and I started dating a guy and then I tell him I'm polyamorous and he's down with it and he's like, okay, I'll date another girl and then I start dating another guy. Or it's an open type of relationship. It's almost like being single, but you do have an obligation to let everybody involved know that you're dealing with other people. They're also dealing with other people. They're free to deal with other people, and it's an understanding. You're obligated to whatever you're in a relationship with this person for. You're obligated to provide that for them. It can be multiple things. Yeah.
Because my next question would be, what's the difference between that and say you're single and proactively dating?
Yeah, so when you're polyamorous, you have what's going on. Everybody has to be in agreement, and
Gotcha.
you're when you
So that
doing
means-
that.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So if somebody,
Okay.
so you said everybody has to be in agreement. So if you're
Yeah.
involved, you're single or you're involved with somebody, and they say that I'm about to start kicking it with this other person. You have the right to say, nah, I don't want you to. You can't do it. Do you have that right, or is that?
I mean, you can't tell them who they can date or not, but if they're doing something that you don't like, you can choose to stop being in a relationship with them.
Okay. So it
So
sounds.
one thing I do want to clear up, one thing I do want to say before we get too deep into this, it's not about sex. It's, a lot of people think, oh, you're a hoe, and it's just a reason to be a hoe. Like, no, it's like you can be in five different relationships with five different people and only be having sex with one or none at all. You're in a relationship with different people for different reasons.
Right. So I guess people confuse that. A lot of people confuse it with living a promiscuous lifestyle, and may or may not be the case there.
Right. So it all goes back to the type of person that you are, or that you were when you were monogamous, that you were ever monogamous, or when you're single. Like, however your sexual life is when you're in a relationship monogamously, or how your sexual life is when you're single, it's going to be the same. You're going to take that same characteristic into a polyamorous relationship. When I'm single, I usually have sex with one person, like a familiar person, an ex or something like that. So it's like
Okay,
that.
that makes sense.
So would you say it's comparable to a swinger lifestyle?
Swingers have sex. Swingers is all about sex.
Right. Okay.
This is about relations. This is about connections. This is about.
So it's like a companionship type of relationship,
yeah,
as opposed to.
So what could it be? So is it just for like casual, not that serious, or could it escalate to the point where y'all are having kids, etc.? Like, is it ever going to evolve into a monogamous relationship? Like, is it this cool because we're?
So with the polyamory world, anything goes with agreement from the parties that are involved. So if I have friends and I have one boyfriend that wants to have a kid, and I talk to my other two boyfriends, and I'm like, are y'all down with this? Y'all still want to stay in a relationship with me if I end up pregnant, or no? Like, okay, but this is what's about to happen. Like, it's okay to talk about it with your partners and let them know and see if they're down with it or not. But there's really not too many rules in this.
Okay, well, it just sounds like it's a you have to be very honest and transparent, which is always promote and I always think that's the best route anyway. So if everybody involved is not in their feelings, not creating drama, not creating unspoken expectations and all this other stuff, this sounds like well, I have a couple questions. I wrote down some questions. So I was gonna ask you. So from a female perspective, do you think that this type of relationship will work for a woman that isn't bisexual?
Yes, it will. It will, because she can only date only men. I'm bisexual, so I can date women. I can have girlfriends or boyfriends.
Okay. All right. So, and you already answered my question. So, every person involved dates other people, or is it a situation where one person may be committed and not allowed to mess with anybody else, but the other people are?
Now, that is called being a unicorn. They do have something in that.
Repeat that? What is that?
It's called being a unicorn. Yeah, so maybe like a couple will be like the main couple, it's just him and her, and then they have a girl that they date, and she's not allowed to date or talk to anybody else. They're only for that couple. So that's kind of called the unicorn, and it's kind of frowned upon in the poly world because of how the woman is treated, not being able to have the freedom that the couple has. But it is something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say that does seem kind of hypocritical. I would wonder what would make a woman want to do that. You know, if you have the option.
Be a unicorn?
Yeah, like what do they get out of doing that?
I guess you can break it down to, I guess the same reason why a woman would want to be a prostitute and have a pimp to give her money to. Like, everybody has, different, minds and, I guess self-worth. It's a lot. It's just a lot. But there are a lot of women that are unicorns. They're absolutely happy with it.
Okay, so how did you get into this? How did you just read about it, or walk me through the transition from being in committed monogamous relationships to considering this lifestyle and accepting this as the way that you wanted to date.
I think I ran across a YouTube video of a polyamorous couple, and their channel was all about polyamory. So I started reading about it, and then the Kevin Hart issue came about where he cheated on his second wife, and I'm just like, oh, he should have been, poly. Like, if he can't be monogamous, he might as well just go ahead to the poly lifestyle and everybody be okay with what's going on. Then I just started researching, reading. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and give it a try for 2018 because it's nothing that I have to commit myself to, So 2018 has been about polyamory.
All right, so compared to your monogamous dating experiences, what's the grade cards looking like?
The grade cards are letting the people that were currently calling my phone and trying to date me or things like that this is what I'm into, this is what I'm about to do. And hearing a lot of, you don't need to talk to anybody else but me, blah, blah, blah. But, okay. But this is what I'm about to do. You're free to do what you want. I don't want that. It's me. No.
For real?
That's the great part. Yeah.
So you got to do that.
That's crazy because you would think the opposite, right?
You would think that, the typical male would want to have multiple women. But no, I guess every man want to play like or act like or, say that. He doesn't want that. But
well, see, a lot of dudes want to handcuff the pussy. Like, they want
understandable.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I think it's whack.
But some of them do that with women, with women that aren't there.
They do it with hypocritical behavior or lies. Like, if you're doing it transparent, like you said, if you get somebody to agree to that, that's one thing. But I hate the dudes that portray that they being with a woman or have multiple girlfriends type dude. Like, dude, just be single and you fucking multiple chicks. You know what I'm saying? Like, be a bachelor, dog. Don't the multiple girlfriend dude is lame as hell to me because he's lying to multiple people when it's not necessary.
Well, there is a world for him. He can do and be what he wants freely in this poly world. And he doesn't have to lie.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, that sounds very similar to my college lifestyle, except I guess not as transparent as you would say. I would disguise different things, but I would make it very clear I wasn't committed to nobody. So, all right.
Okay, right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I feel like if I'm making it known that I don't got no girlfriend and I'm free to do what I want, then common sense tell you I'm smashing other people.
I wouldn't be in the feeling. We'd be like, no, you're not having sex with nobody else but me. Like, that's how I feel. And they do have to find out it's somebody else and they're going to be hurt. That's just how it is.
Yeah, that's what you find a lot, or a lot of times you'll find it started off cool, but now that I've caught feelings, now I'm upset or I don't want you doing certain things. I found
exactly
that was kind of my problem with my side dude situations. Like, it's like, yo, you got a boyfriend, y'all got a kid, like, why are you talking about us being together? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just keep fucking. Like, and so it would be situations like that where I'm like, man, I gotta cut her off, but the pussies ain't one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it forces you to make decisions that you don't really want to make. And I could never really understand why they couldn't just enjoy the situation for what it was. But things like polyamory wasn't out back when I was in college. Well, at least it wasn't openly talked about.
It was out like, Warren Buffett was poly, whether you know it or not.
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thanks for the tea.
His second wife came from a poly situation.
Oh, wow. Okay,
yeah.
so
his question, he had asked earlier, he did ask me about what if you want to get married. That's absolutely fine as long as all parties involved are aware in agreement, or, like...
So you would still keep messing with the people after the marriage?
That's what everybody agrees to. If they're like, okay, well, you want to get married, I'm still going to deal with you. Is your husband okay with you still dealing with us? And it's like, if you say yeah, then it is what it is. It's all about conversation, agreement, understanding, openness, and if you're down with it.
So is this under like the umbrella of open relationship?
It is very much so, like under that umbrella.
Okay. So
now was my question is this, like, since you've gone to this lifestyle, out of the guys you dated since, how many of them were actually okay with this lifestyle, or as opposed to how many that weren't?
That's a good question.
It's hard to say because certain people say, "Oh yeah, I'm down with that," but I'm
then
not
they catch
talking to
feelings.
anybody else. They claim they're not talking to anybody else, and I'm like, "But you know that you're free to talk to other people." Like,
Why do they lie about it? Why are they lying about?
If they got the, if you got the, you know, that doesn't
that-
make sense to me.
Yeah, that don't make sense to me either.
If you're going to get into the poly world and want to be polyamorous, it's best and easier to date in the polyamory community. They have Facebook groups that you can just type in polyamory, it'll pop up. You know, they have meetup groups with just polyamorous people. So it's best to date within your circle so everybody knows what's going on. You know what to expect. So it's easier to just get out of the monogamous circle and just jump into the polyamory circle.
Right, so that leads to my next question I was going to ask you. So, does living a poly lifestyle eliminate the desire to cheat or do something secretive?
There's still going to be cheaters and there's still going to be liars. There's still going to be people and they're like, "Oh, it's just you and her and nobody else." Like it's not sheltered from what would happen in a monogamous relationship. It's not. It doesn't. You know.
But you would think in theory it would.
I thought that would be the point of that lifestyle to kind of, you know, go, you know, have
be able to be open and free, right?
Yeah, where like say for like the dude that is mostly faithful but fucks another chick every now and then, right? That would be like the kind of ideal situation where you like, man, this new cute chick at work. I really wasn't tripping, but now I want to try to fuck her, and she'd be like, cool. That would eliminate hiding text and sneaking and risking all the shit that I be talking about, the losing your house and ending the relationship. Right. Like, if you can do it, but I guess the problem is most men are not going to accept I want to get some other dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, most guys are going to have an issue.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so that's...
So like I said, it's easier to date within a poly circle than to just date the regular average Joe that's in a monogamous relationship.
Yeah, because that's funny.
I guess, you know, some will say they're okay with it, but in actuality they're not. Once you say, hey, listen, well, I'm talking to other guys here, you know, I'm dating this person, that person. And
there's still feelings that get hurt. There's still jealousy. These are still people. It's just different title and, you know, different rules, but it's still the same situation that we have to deal with because that person's characteristics or morals or whatever. They still get jealous. They still lie. They still cheat.
Yeah. I just, you know, we can only be on that lifestyle is not for everybody. So my thing is, if it's not for you, why get into that lifestyle?
Right. If you're very, very emotional, attached type of person, insecure and want to get attached and territorial, this isn't the lifestyle for you. Now, there are a lot of people out there in monogamous relationships that are really built for poly relationships, but society has them thinking you have to be monogamous. This is the only thing that you're supposed to do. This is the only right thing, right? But it's not. It's a whole different world out here where probably...
Yeah, so let me ask you, what do you think about... I get asked about the monogamy question. Do you think monogamy is natural?
No, I don't think monogamy is natural. I don't think that you have to love one person and one person only, because if you really think about it, if you love more than one person, you love those people for totally different reasons.
True.
So it's possible to love different people for different reasons at the same time. I mean, it's so possible for us to love our children, and we have multiple children, love our family members, we have multiple family members, love our kids, we have, you know, our friends and have multiple friends, but all of a sudden now we in a relationship, we only gotta love one person, that's all we're able to, it's really not.
Yeah. No. And that's the same thing that a lot of women disagree when I talk about that.
Exactly. I think we spoke about this on previous shows where we said, hey, you know, it's not that you just love that person, that's it. You know, you go through life loving. Obviously, you're going to be in different relationships, so you're going to love more than one person in that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because so many people would like you said, would frown upon this kind of lifestyle. But to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like like a more mature and transparent friends with benefits. Like, we all free to do what we want. We all know what it is. If we want something different, we got to discuss it and agree.
Again, it's not about sex. So you're making it again about sex. Friends with benefits is about somebody I get their home. Like, it's about sex. It's polyamory is not, that's not, stop putting that umbrella over polyamory. Yes, sex is involved if you want it to be, but that's not the whole.
So okay, hold on. Let me help me understand this. A relationship where there's no sex is a platonic relationship, right?
Everybody don't think with their penis or their vagina.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, but ain't that the definition of platonic? Like, there's no, like, that's like your best friend then.
Let me ask a question. Let me get this straight. So, how does the dude that stayed in this lifestyle, in the polyamorous lifestyle, none of them tried to bag you?
I let it be known that when I have my sexual partner. I do have my sexual partner.
Okay.
So if anybody else comes along, I say, oh yeah, so you want to, but I'm poly. I'm just like, you know, poly. And, you know, but they may not know how to explain what poly is. And I don't need to say, I already have my sexual partner. Like, I don't need that. I'm not looking for that.
And
so
these guys will be okay with it anyway.
They'll be like, well, what am I supposed to do? What?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Like,
you want to be? Let me answer.
Oh, okay.
If you want to be poly, then you're free to find somebody who you need to get your work off on. You're free to do that. That's the whole poly thing is about. Now, if you only for me for sex, and I'm already giving it to somebody, that's all I want to do, then I'm not your girl.
Okay, so
reasons,
no, so in that instance where you met this new dude and you already telling him off top it's not gonna be no sex between y'all, ain't that like you just being his homegirl?
That's what I would think.
Like, that's it. Like, we cool, we kick it.
Stop. What reasons would you say with your wife, Terry, if she had no vagina? Are there other reasons you would stay with her and keep her around?
Man, how you gonna hit me with the hypothetical if she ain't got no vagina? No, I'm just saying that's not realistic.
It is realistic. Like, is your wife useful to you when her legs are closed and her mouth is closed?
Yes.
Right.
But that's not a platonic thing, though.
But we can't just say,
it's a relationship.
Right, but we can't just dismiss sex and say, okay, it's not a factor in a relationship here.
Right. And if you can get your nut off, however you can get your nut off, with a hand, with a mouth, with a vagina, with somebody else's vagina, it gets off and you're done, you happy. So if you may not be getting my vagina, but you get keep the vagina of your other girlfriend, at least you get your rocks off. That's all the man was born. You want to get rocks off somewhere, somehow, some way. It don't even matter.
Okay. So if the guy is sleeping with other women, right, and your relationship with him is y'all never have sex, all y'all do is do favors for each other, y'all spend time together or whatnot. How would that be different than just a real cool platonic relationship?
I mean, you can call it what you want. It's still a relationship.
I mean, I know, but that's what I'm saying.
So is it like one of those whatever? So you gave these other guys, right? So is it like you had this guy? Okay, maybe he's your handyman or something. Maybe he's your ride to wherever. Is it like one of those?
It's like the monogamous man that has a but she argues, she fuss, she that, she don't cook, whatever. You know, she gives up the head and the vagina, but everything else she really, and he goes to the chick down the street who cooks, house is always clean and smelling good, and she just there to like relax his mind, and you know, it's a peaceful place to be, a sanctuary, and he just loves to be down there for that. It's that. It's what you can't get in one woman that you feel like you need to get from elsewhere.
Okay.
Become a dime a dozen, but to find a good woman that doesn't want to argue, you know, helps motivate you or pushes you, or, you know, just different things. There's other things that you can provide for somebody besides what's between your legs.
Well, yeah, I mean, you obviously it sounds like this. Now I'm starting to get why you said there were conflicts and stuff. Initially, this sounds like this euphoric type of situation to be in if you want to be with multiple people, but I can see why people would get their feelings hurt or catch feelings, etc. in situations like this, like you have an intimate or close relationship with somebody that you obviously physically attracted to, but they telling you that you can't ever get it, I can see why jealousy and all that could come into play. That because that's basically friend zone. That's the friend zone to a degree.
Right. I mean, I would say like, and then maybe you can answer better. I'm guessing you probably have dealt with guys that try to friend their way into some pussy. Like, yeah, like, I'll be, they'll stay in the friend zone, but then trying to make their way up to get some ass out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there always guys like that. But I haven't come in contact with that yet.
Okay.
Now, in 2018, on this poly thing, like, I've come in contact with that being monogamous, yeah.
Okay.
All right, that's what's up, man. Well, it looks like we are up against the clock, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, join the podcast
Absolutely.
with us. Before we get out of here, let people know how they can find your content again.
Oh, you can definitely find me on YouTube at Montana Deleon and the number 1, and on Instagram at Love Some Montana, LOVESOME, Montana, MONTANA.
All right, everybody, we're about to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll do a follow-up and we'll wrap up the show. You listen to another episode of the More Than Love podcast. All right, everybody, welcome back to the More Than Love podcast. We had a very interesting conversation with Montana Deleon. So, Jay, what was your takeaway with polyamorous relationships or whatnot? To me, it seemed like
I feel like to me, like when she first mentioned, I thought it was something like a swing like that first, but I'm seeing it's more like, okay, you're dating someone and you got a bunch of guys that she has friends on, like, kind of like compartmentalizing them into a category, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's kind of, I thought it was, I used to watch the show on HBO called Big Love, where they talked about, polygamy, where you're married to more than one person. And so it saw some of the complications that can come with that type of relationship. But my impression of what a polyamorous relationship was, like, basically you're free to do what you want with others as long as you're transparent about it and you have one person or one or more person that you're trying to build a life with. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I thought it was kind of like some version of an open relationship. But when the way she described it, it did seem like the fact that you can have multiple people that you never have no sex or no involvement with, to me, that's just friends. That's just somebody you can confide in. Oh, we can hang out, we can chop it up, laugh and joke, but if we not fucking, we not kissing, we not doing nothing, to me, the way that my relationship statuses are set up, that's a platonic friend. Like, I would be trying to fuck your friends if we was just cool like that. You know what I mean? Like, so, to me, but I guess if I would have never used the word polyamorous, but like I said, it sounded a lot like my single life, where I was fucking multiple people and I didn't care who knew it. You can choose to be down or choose not to. You know what I mean? Like, and so I think that being transparent with people that you're not trying to lead them to believe you're faithful to them when you're not. Like, that's the difference between, like, a stand-up guy and a dude that's a fuckboy, where he's deceiving you. You're the one and only. You're the only woman I think about. Like, that type of conversation when you really fucking 5 other chicks. Like, that's whack. And so I never wanted to be that dude that had to feed chicks lines or tell them what they wanted to hear in order to get them to fuck with you. Like, you gonna either like me and we gonna feel that way and we'll progress towards that, or I'm gonna redirect my time and attention somewhere else and you can give your pussy to whoever you gonna give it to. Like, I don't have time to sit around hoping one day you give me some. Like, that's not
right. I mean, that's the thing. I find it hard, and I'm saying I don't, if I don't believe like these guys just okay, we can have, this kind of relationship.
Well, she said that she's had problems with it, and now I can understand why. Like at the beginning of the conversation, remember she said that like she thought dudes was just gonna be all for it, and I thought it too. Because I was confused. I'm like, so dudes just like, I don't want to fuck casually. Like that don't make no sense to me. Like you're a very attractive woman, but now I see like, oh, you can get my time, but you're never I'm only having sex with this dude. Well, then ain't no room for me. Like, but so I completely get why a lot of guys are not signing on for that type of dating.
Right.
But it's interesting. It is very similar to what bachelors do, where you have different women for different things. One woman likes sports, so you can take her to the game with you. Another chick, you know what I'm saying, like, is well known socially, so she's always inviting you to events and parties and things. Like, so you can have different chicks for different.
Right, but you're still trying to have some kind of sexual.
But yeah,
you're trying to have a sexual relationship.
Yeah. That's just off top.
Made it clear.
That's off top.
She made it abundantly clear she's not just trying to, have any kind of sexual. She's not making any kind of sexual innuendos at them whatsoever.
Yeah, to me that would feel like a friend zone. Like we were saying in the comment, like, wow, that sounds like friend zone to me. Like, because if I step to you to in any type of way to find out your relationship status, I want to fuck you, like, eventually.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you hit me with the, oh, no, we can be cool, but we'll never do that, I'm not signing it.
Right.
So,
right. And we talked about this a lot of times on this, especially with the times of the old show where we said, guys talk to it based on, if they want to fuck them or not, based on whether they should start sleeping with them. So I'm saying, he's talking to her, and she's, being opened up by her,
polyamorous. Oh yeah, I don't know, man. I that's one of the words I struggle
with that lifestyle. So when he first hears about it, she talks to most men. He's thinking, okay, we can have no relationship. Now she's saying, well, I'm not having sex. She's up there, hey, we're not having sex. We can go out, hang out, go to dinner, this, that, and the third, but we're not having sex. I mean, the average guy. The average guy that's successful women, for that matter, isn't going to go for that.
Yeah. I mean, you're not gonna get in your feelings about it or be upset, but
now you're gonna have some men that'll be like, okay, they'll be cool with it. Like I said earlier, they'll say, okay, well, I'm cool with it. And
well, see, I would be. I had some. I ain't gonna say odd friendships or friends with benefit situations, but they were sexual at least a little bit. Like I had female friends when I was single where we didn't fuck, but we gave each other head. We smoked, chill. She loved sucking dick. I loved eating pussy. So great. You know what I'm saying? Like we privately do our thing when we link up. But there was some sexual gratification from it. Like we weren't just buddies. So I wouldn't. I mean, it's interesting to be able to discuss these things. So, but we'll have a part 2. We'll definitely do a follow up and see how her 2018 turns out. Whether she continues to live that type of lifestyle or shifts back to a monogamous type of relationship. So, but me and her have been cool ever since I got on Instagram. So, she's real positive. I really enjoy me and her interactions. That's why I've always reached out to her. So, I definitely enjoyed the conversation, man. I look like we're up against the clock. Make sure that y'all be careful how you label your relationship or your statuses these days. Things can be really, really, really complex.
It can get real messy.
Yeah, it can get real messy if there's some confusion about these terms, especially with everything that's going on. But shout out to Montana Deleon for participating in this week's show. Jay, another good job, man. I appreciate the time and effort. This has been another episode of the More Than Love podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
She my number one. I don't need nothing on the side. Said that I was done for